tell me about a pattern. Where did it come from? Where did the idea come from? And what problem are you trying to solve?
Love it. This is my gig. This is the biggest thing that I've built to date since being an entrepreneur. So Pattern.io or Pattern is a personalized AI content strategist for short-term content creators. So essentially what it does is to help you to help content creators to analyze or to automate the content analysis and to help you to understand who you are as a content creator. So essentially what it does, it connects to your Instagram and TikTok and YouTube account. It will essentially understand who you are as a content creator, will analyze all your posts, like your content pillars. So what type of content that you post, your tone of voice, so how do I speak, and like, is it casual, is it professional, and what type of like format that does really well, is it carousel or is that like actual videos, reels and stuff. And then we'll also analyze the actual videos as well. So we'll analyze video into different layers. So that means we'll analyze videos in a way that where ChatGPT and Claude actually can't do it. So we analyze the visual, so like any background, any subheading, like any text on screen, like any stickers and stuff, and we analyze so yeah, that's the first thing, the visual, right? But also we analyze the transcription, so like the transcript of it, and we analyze the audio, any background music, how's your pace, and we actually look at performance data. So what that means, everything is connected. So before we give you a recommendation, before we tell you what you can do better or what are the new ideas that you can do, everything has been connected. So we're only going to give you ideas that we know is data driven, right? So that has been backed by data, that it knows this kind of pillar is doing really well for the past week based on your own data, based on Instagram and TikTok's like insight.
There's a scene in Martyr Supreme where the woman asks the main character, he's like, have you ever thought about when this thing doesn't work? And he's like, that doesn't even enter my consciousness.
100, absolutely. This is exactly it. Like, this is the thing. Like, I want to say, like, I'm so certain like that I'm not gonna fail. Like, I'm serious. I'm looking at this camera to say this. I'm looking at this camera to say this. Like, I'm so certain I'm not gonna fail. Like, I'm gonna succeed. Like, the only option I have is to make it work, and I'm gonna make it work. So you watch me, like, and in 2 years time come back to me, like, I'll be there. Like, so that,
I believe it, bro.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I believe it, bro.
You gotta believe it to make it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta have that mindset as well. So like, I'm gonna make it. Just telling you right now.
So recently you quit your job, you sold your car, and you took a flight in chase of your dreams. Can you talk me through that day and talk me through that decision? What made you make that decision?
Yeah, good question. I think, honestly, obviously the job that I have is my plan B, right? And the plan A is essentially work on my business, grow like my audience, and like being a content creator and being an entrepreneur, right? And I realized that having plan B, which is my safety job, right, which is a stable job, is affecting my plan A. I feel like that is because I still have to work during the day. I still have to essentially like do work. Like, that's affecting like the ability or like the potential that can grow on my plan A, which is my business and my social media. So I make the call and say, look, I'm gonna quit my job. I'm gonna have to make this work, otherwise I'm fucked. So that's pretty much it. So yeah, and I sold my car. The car is probably the biggest thing that I've bought since I come to the country, and that's like my asset, right? And that's the thing that I've had. And when I sold my car, I feel like, in a way, not empty, but I feel like, damn, that's really happening. It's really happening, because that's the first big thing that I've done. But yeah, no, I feel good. I'm excited. Obviously, it's still a bit scary. To some extent, but I'm excited for in 5 weeks' time. I'll see you in Valencia.
So yeah, so give some context about that decision, right? You were in a pretty high paying job, 125k, stable career progression. You understood what was coming next, but you've talked about how you didn't feel. Stephen, welcome back to the show.
Good to be back, man. Good to be back. Thanks for the invite, man.
Good to have you back, man. So recently you quit your job, you sold your car, and you took a flight in chase of your dreams. Can you talk me through that day and talk me through that decision? What made you make that decision?
Yeah, good question. I think, honestly, obviously the job that I have is my plan B, right? And the plan A is essentially work on my business, grow like my audience, and like being a content creator and being an entrepreneur, right? And I realized that having plan B, which is my safety job, right, which is a stable job, is affecting my plan A. I feel like that is because I still have to work during the day. I still have to essentially like do work. Like, that's affecting like the ability or like the potential that can grow on my plan A, which is my business and my social media. So I make the call and say, look, I'm gonna quit my job. I'm gonna have to make this work, otherwise I'm fucked. So that's pretty much it. So yeah, and I sold my car. The car is probably the biggest thing that I've bought since I come to the country, and that's like my asset, right? And that's the thing that I've had. And when I sold my car, I feel like in a way not empty, but I feel like, damn, that's really happening. It's really happening because that's the first big thing that I've done. But yeah, no, I feel good. I'm excited. Obviously, it's still a bit scare. To some extent, but I'm excited for in 5 weeks' time. I'll see you in Valencia.
So yeah, so give some context about that decision, right? You were in a pretty high paying job, 125k, stable career progression. You understood what was coming next, but you've talked about how you didn't feel like it was enough. Why did you feel like that? When did you start to realize that it wasn't enough?
Yeah, I think honestly, probably over a year that I feel like a 9 to 5 is not for me. I don't feel fulfilled in my 9 to 5. Like I am getting paid a lot of money in the corporate world, right? So let me say like 125k is a lot of money as a salary. It's not a lot of money as a business, right? So like there's I think like I just don't feel like I can see myself continue to grow and learn as my career progress in the current role or in what I'm doing, which for context, I'm working in sales, like in the AI sales space. So I just feel like the potential and there's a ceiling for it. And I've looked at the people that are above me, that they are like in their 50s, right? Like they're making like 350 grand a year. Like don't get me wrong, that's a lot of money, right? But I can't see myself like just making 300 grand a year and just be stored there for another 20 years because like with the trajectories that I'm going with right now with my career progression, I can probably do that in the next 5 years. So what does that mean after 5 years time then, right? So there's not even any like additional money that I can get from a place or just from working a 9 to 5. And also there's a constraint, right? It's about the freedom that you can get. It's about you have to go into the office or you have to work a 9 to 5. Like you still have to be there, like you still have to show up. But whereas when I have my own business or when I'm doing my own social media stuff, I can be in a different country or I can just go around and spend time with families. I can prioritize my own life over work. And one of the things that I really see value is like if you like touch wood, if I go tomorrow, they can replace me tomorrow. Like they will hire someone straight away. They will put on a job ads and like we need another new salesperson. Like so you mean nothing to the company. Like whereas if it's your own thing, like everything that you work on is you, right? And this is where I start. Like I really make the call and say, look, like I'm gonna do it. So yeah.
And I think also it's important to think about the corporate world that we're talking about here. That corporate world, it's very much it feels soulless. It feels like you're doing it because of a specific, kind of output, and then it doesn't feel like you really care about the thing you're inputting, right? But let's talk about that. Let's talk about you thought about the people that were above you, and you talked about how of course they had 300k, kind of like you could have made it, but you saw them and you kind of felt I didn't want it to be like them. What was that like? What did you mean by that?
I just can't see myself working a 9 to 5 for another 30 years. Like I'm 23 years old, right? So if we talk about the standard retirement age, 65, I'm still 42 years away. It's a long time. Like when you think about it, I've worked probably for like 3-4 years now. Like, and that is also a long time. Like, can you imagine yourself working another 30-40 years? Like, I just can't see that for myself. Hence why I look at the people. Look, everyone's different. Some people might just really like a 9 to 5. But for me, like, I just can't see myself. When I look at them, like, I'm sorry, I just feel like, do you not have better things to do? Like, why are you in the office when you're in the 50s? Like, why are you chasing deals? Like, why are you trying to sell more? Like, what is so it's just like I don't want to be. I guess two things, right? Firstly, is I don't want to be like stuck in a job like when I'm until my 50s. I can't do that for another 30 years. But the second thing is just the potential, just the potential of the earnings and stuff. Like so these are the main two things.
Yeah, I think it comes down to either betting on yourself or betting on the safety of a company.
Yeah.
I think some people the mentality of some people is they'd rather bet on the safety of a company. And I think human beings are kind of like rational beings, right? We'll kind of tell ourselves, I'm doing this decision because it makes a rational sense and da-da-da-da-da. And then they just, spend the next 40 years of their life in one company or bouncing around a different company, convincing themselves that they made the right choice because they didn't do anything that was risky. And they didn't risk anything. But I think there's certain individuals who understand that risk is actually a part of life. And like you have to use that risk to your own advantage in order to create leverage to move up
100%
to different fields.
Yeah, but even the really good element you mentioned is the risk, right? If I even take that away, like there's no being safe or being stable in a corporate job, because nowadays in the environment, like, you can get laid off tomorrow. Like, you can get laid off by the company. So so a safe job is not that safe anymore. Like, so then this is what I mean by why am I wasting my time spending in plan B, whereas plan B is not actually safe anyway, right? I could get laid off tomorrow. I still have to deliver. Or if the organization will change, then that is done. So like your safe job is not that safe, then like you are not being risk free really, because there's still a risk there. So I'd rather take those risks and just do my own thing and just try. And one of the elements I also think of is I'm only 23, right? Like, touch wood, if this fail, I can come back next year. Like, so the worst case scenario is my current scenario. It's just coming back to a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I might not make as much money as now, as 125 grand, but I will survive. Right. So.
And not just that, like, you see so much progression in yourself by making this risk, you know. I feel like life is always like a two choice thing. You have to go forward and you have a new kind of options like pop up, or you don't do anything and then those options kind of like get taken away. And I think most of the time we get stuck in that loop of always like not making a choice because we feel like it makes sense. To give the devil his due, though, why do you think some people feel like they have to stay into that kind of comfortable role? Like, if we had to try to think of that perspective, because the reason why I'm so fascinated about this conversation is I want to take people where they're at, you know, because a lot of our generation feels like 9 to 5 is a stable job, it makes sense, and we've kind of been conditioned for that way of life. And I want to bring them on this journey of like kind of believing in themselves and trying their own thing. But to start, they have to start where they are. Why do you think people start there? What kind of marketing or what kind of things are we told about 9 to 5 that make us think it's safe?
I think the thing that I would pick on is probably about like people don't want to try. Like, sometimes I just feel like people are just lazy. Like, because it's hard to do your own business. It's hard to chase your dream. So the easiest path is a 9 to 5, is being the corporate world, is getting salary. Like, you just have to deliver certain things and then you get paid. And then what do you do the rest of the time? You wake up, you go on your phone for 2 hours. You come back watching Netflix, cook, and that's the end of the day. Like, but actually, I want to say that is probably one of the worst things you can do, because you are burning your prime age, or you're burning your like the perfect time for yourself, like, to be stuck in a job. Like, so I just feel like a lot of people do that because they're just lazy. Like, honestly, not everyone can be an entrepreneur, I get it, but can everyone not go to 9 to 5? 100%.
Yeah.
Like, they could definitely try.
Yeah, I mean, like, I always think about this a lot, because I like to think about where things started from. And I think that, like, the industrial age and how everyone kind of had to be working in a factory from young got comfortable as a society with, like, going to a job and clocking in and clocking out, rather than making our own stuff. It feels like the UK right now has a shortage of jobs because no one's making anything.
Yeah.
Everyone's just kind of being used to this thing where they're kind of leeching off people making stuff. So you have an agency, you've got a sales team. Great company, great ideas, but no one's actually making anything, and so nothing gets, you know, no new jobs comes, no new money comes into the economy. And I feel like our generation has been very much kind of convinced that the 9 to 5 is almost the only way to have a life. Yeah. And so we fall into that trap and we just off we go, you know.
100%. And I guess that's probably the only thing they taught me in school as well, right? Or like just at uni, it's the career path or like our life path has been planned as you go to school. Then what do? You go to uni, and after you get a job, and then what's after you get a job? You wait for to get promotion, and then you jump around, and then you're just trying to climb up the ladder. Like, this is how I see it. Is I thought about climbing up the ladder when I first started my career, right? I thought about, okay, because all I knew at the time was corporate world, and which I've learned a lot in the corporate world. So that's something that I can't just say like, oh, I hate corporate world, but I've learned a lot, right? So that's something that I have to give credit to the corporate world. But is like, I thought about climbing the ladder, the career ladder, but actually climbing the career ladder is not easy either. Like, this is the thing, like, you still have to work hard, like, you still have to work extra hours. So then why don't I just put those hours into my own business or into my own thing that I would enjoy more? So then, like, the reward is a lot bigger, or I guess it's limitless in a way, right? So
yeah. When did you start having that change of perspective then? Because I think that's interesting.
I think one of my mate, when I was started my career at Microsoft, it was when I was 19. I was an intern there, like, and his family's always got he's got a family business, and this is where I start planting the seed, and really talking about like having your own business and stuff. In my head, honestly, back then I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, you can be at Microsoft, like that's one of the best company you can work for, right? But actually, he really planted the seed in me, and then the more I learn about sort of like the startup environment, the ecosystem, and I've tried different ideas, and then like obviously I've been like building my own business, like a couple of other businesses for the past 2 years, failed a couple of times, but then I've just really decided to take the leap of faith and just go for it.
Yeah, I think for me it's always been kind of similar, where I kind of always had an instinctive way of like, I believe in my own potential rather than someone's potential to look after me.
Yeah.
So like I know that a company might fail and I might fail, but like I'd rather it be in my hands.
Yeah.
And then like always understanding that whatever move I make, it needs to be like always aligned with that. And the mistake I used to make, and I still kind of make to a certain extent, is that I would do both. Because I'll be like, I'll do 9 to 5, but I also do my own thing. And I think that's the kind of like that's the for some people the kind of like the balance, but that balance is also very difficult to handle.
That's the thing. I think that was me for 2 years, right? Like it's difficult, like it's hard, and a lot of the time, like you just don't have the energy to do your own business, like, and which because you are burnt out, or like you spend a lot of time at work, like you just really want to spend some time for yourself, which is completely fair. And this is where I see as like it being in plan B, which is not a stable or safe, like in any way. In some way maybe it is, right? But you still have the risk of getting laid off, like I said earlier. Then you might as well just go and try. So I'm like, now I've made the call and say, look, I quit my job, like, and I'm gonna do it, like, and if I failed, I'm fucked pretty much, right? Sorry, I'm keep going, but like, yeah,
it's okay, don't worry.
Yeah, so like it just means that there's no other option but to succeed.
Let's talk about making a jump then, because I feel like that's where like the realization comes first, and then the secondary thing is making that jump, making that decision. You've talked about how you can have both feelings coexist, the feeling of fear and the feeling of excitement, and they both coexist because once you make the decision, it's like you're in the process now, and your mind is telling yourself both things are real. What is it like when you finally make that decision?
Honestly, yeah, very scary, and very exciting. The reason I say this is like the exciting part of it is unlimited potential, right? It's me actually taking the step and doing what I said I would do, right? And so that you give yourself a validation. That's the first thing. And the second element of it is moving to a different country, or like just like trying new things. Like I'll be moving to Spain. Like that is super exciting, right? But the scary part of it is I am quitting my 6-figure job. Like I am gonna have not making any money. Like it's about like the financial side of thing, right? It is about like, can I look after myself? Like, am I? I wouldn't say would my family be disappointed in me, but it's more about like, does it mean that I have the ability to look after my family? That's probably like, it's about, I think the big thing is about the financial aspect, is the stability of it, is because like you don't know how much you will earn in the beginning, or let alone whether you will earn anything like in your own business. So it's about that aspect of it. But yeah, it's just, it's still constantly come back to me, right? So I think I've passed that stage of being scared. And the reason being is by taking more actions, like you are not thinking about you. I guess you still thinking about your emotion, but you're more thinking about the next step. So like you can't see the whole path, but you can see the next step, right? So it's about, once I sold my car, what is the next step? Like it's about booking my accommodation, it's about booking my flight, right? And then what is the next step after? It's about to make sure that I set up my business correctly, and stuff like that. So by actioning, you seeing a clear path.
Yeah, so the step-by-step process of it kind of reduces the fear, because you're actually making moves towards that goal.
100%.
Rather than it just being like an idea in your head, because oftentimes the idea in your head is actually what scares you, because it's like, it's like a kind of gas. It's like a mist. You can't hold on to it.
Yeah.
And so it kind of has all these fears. But then when you're concrete about it, okay, like I know what the next thing needs to do. I know what fear that is, and I can conquer that fear.
100%, absolutely.
Yeah. The reason I'm trying to like kind of go deeper into this and slow everything down is that I feel like the emotional the emotional difficulty is actually what people struggle with. A lot of people have that, like you said, have it on their thing. 2025, I'm going to do it. Okay, they can't do it. 2026. Most people are going to push it next year, and so on, because they struggle with the emotional kind of understanding of what they're actually facing. You know, it's this big thing in their head, but they don't bring it down and be like, okay, cool, what is it actually that I'm trying to like kind of decide here? What is the actual fear I'm trying to overcome? So for you, what was it like? What was the kind of thing that, you know, once you kind of went with the gut and you did it, you realized, oh, that was what was stopping me. Like, what was it the thing that was stopping you before?
Whether I can come back or not, as in like, can I, like, if this fail, like, can I make the same amount of money, or like, does it mean I'm gonna lose this ability forever? Because it took me a very long time to get to where I am now, right? It took me like 6 years for me to be stable, for me to get my 1-bed flat, for me to get my car. Like, does that mean that I'm giving everything away? And so I'm making a really dumb decision that I cannot reverse. But actually, that's not true, because like I mentioned, like because this is where when I was doing my thinking, like. I can't see myself never not able to find a job. Like, that's not true. Like, I can always find a job. It just means it might not be 125k. But if it's 60 grand, I can survive, right? Even if it's like, even that means I have to work at restaurants for a year, I will still survive. Like, that's not a lifestyle that I want. But like that, like, it's a two-way door. That's how I see it. It's not that I walk through this, I make this decision, I can never come back. It's not that case, right? I can always come into the corporate world if I need to. But obviously that's not, I don't want to do that. But it just, I can, this is what was stopping me was about that, like, am I making a decision that can't be reversed? But actually that's not true. It can be reversed. I can still come back.
Yeah, I think it's the idea of the sunk cost fallacy, right? It's like this idea that you've done so much to this point, you can't possibly let it go, because if you let it go, all of it would have been wasted. I think that stops a lot of people from starting again, you know? Like, I remember when I was like, because I got made redundant in one of my jobs, you know, recently, and it was like a 9-to-5 job. And then afterwards, I was like, okay, cool, what am I going to do next? And it was very easy. It was telling me in my head, okay, go for safety again, go back into a 9-to-5 kind of corporate world. But I knew that's not what I wanted to do. I knew that at that point in my life, I had to make a decision between I was going to either do the thing that I've always wanted to do or go back into safety. But that wasn't, just because I made a decision doesn't mean the world is going to now malleable kind of turn it into that immediately. I had to spend the next year working restaurant jobs, bar jobs, while I was like insistent that I'm not going to take a job that I don't want. And so it was like that kind of thing. I still had to make money. So I remember one vivid kind of like memory, right, was me having been in this kind of like work thing. I was like doing what I wanted to do on one hand, which was like I was doing poetry open mics, like up on stage, doing that job. But then obviously that didn't pay that great at that time. So I had to do a restaurant job. And then the next day I was wiping the mirrors in the bathroom. I was looking at myself and I started laughing. I was like, that's the price. The price you pay for what I had before was the humility to do this.
Yeah.
And like, if I was too scared to do this, I wouldn't have the other thing.
100%. But I also say, when you're wiping that mirror, like, it's exciting at the same time, because it's like, I'm doing this because I'm chasing my dreams.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm making this call. Look, it's not nice to fucking wipe down the bathroom. Like, it's not nice to clean the bathroom. But I'm doing this because I'm making sure that I'm trying my best. I'm chasing my dream, right? So like, it's like bittersweet moment, right? So
yeah, 100%. And I think that's a lot. Like, those bittersweet moments really kind of help people and how much you want it. Gives you perspective of like how much you really want it. You mentioned that you fear regret more than you fear failure. Dig into me on that. But what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I think really simple. I will regret not trying. Like, and it goes back to the main theme that I've been talking about. Corporate world will always exists. Like, I can always come back, like, if I need to. But I will only be 23 once, right? Like, the regret of not trying and losing a potential is real. Like, you see like a lot of people like in their 50s, like, not necessarily about going self-employed, about traveling, like stuff like that. Like, what's the biggest regret? Not traveling. Like, you can't buy the time back. Like, you can't be in your 20s again. Like, you only have it once. You have to live once, right? You're gonna live now. So it's about regret not trying and not knowing what I could have achieved. Like, that's what I was scared. Like, this is like I'm not scared to not able to find a job. Like, but I'm not scared like about failing. I'm scared of not trying and regretting that, not knowing what I could have achieved. Like, so I really like this this term. I only recently found out it's actually a Chinese term. So the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time was today. It's today. So
that's so beautiful. And I think it's so true. And I think I've always also been like that. And I don't understand people who fear failure more than they fear regret. Like, I understand it, but like for me personally, I've always feared regret more, even when I was a kid. I think maybe it's because of the environment that I grew up in. I grew up in an environment where I saw a lot of people who were there because they just like failed, but also you could see like the what was worse by it was that they were waiting for something and they kept waiting, and it was like the regret. And I never want to be like that. I never want to be around, be older and feel like I didn't get somewhere, and that feeling was the worst feeling, you know?
100%, because it's stuck with you. Like, you're always going to have that feeling in your head. Like, sometimes it's going to pop up at your head and say, oh, like, maybe what would have happened if I've tried? I don't want to have that. Like, I would rather fail knowing that I've tried my best. And I can sleep at night. I can be in my 40s and I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Like, because I've tried.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's like, in life, we must choose our regrets, right? I think like, it's worse. Because even failure, like any person who achieves anything knows failure is part of the journey. Like that is like imprinted into the journey. If you have the perspective that I'm not going to stop, failure is just information. You know, you just keep on going. Like anything I've done in my life ever, I failed at the beginning. Yeah. I just had a different perspective about it. You know, when I was training my first couple of, jiu-jitsu kind of thing, and I was getting absolutely destroyed for 6 months, and I kept getting tapped out every single time I went training. You know, that was failure, but it wasn't failure for me because I had the perspective that this was about growth, and I think it was also about committing to the long term. Once you commit to something the long term, you have a different perspective of every action there. You know that even though I'm getting submitted today, I know I'm learning enough that in 6 months' time, or a year's time, or 20 years' time, these moments will be actually beautiful because it will be when I learn to actually succeed.
I 100% agree. And there's one thing I also want to say as well. I love like quoting terms now, or quotes. You won't fail if you don't give up. So it's part of the journey, right? Yeah. So like if I continue to chase my dream, like the only way is to succeed. Like it's to make it work. Like so it's not failing. Like you are, because you haven't give up. Like you're still doing it. So I love it. So it's having that mentality in your head. It's like, yes, a couple of my businesses failed, or I guess not worked, right? But I'm still an entrepreneur. I'm still trying. Like I haven't give up yet. Like I'm still doing my best. And I'm taking those learning away, like you said, to apply into my current situation, to apply into my current business. And this is how you grow. This is how you learn.
Let's go deeper into that then. What does being an entrepreneur mean to you? And has it changed from when you first started?
100%. It has. Tough work. Honestly, like, tough work. That's the two words I can describe it. It's hard.
Yeah, break it down for me. Like, in what aspects? Emotionally, physically, financially?
Yeah, so like if I break down all aspects of it, right? Financially, right? That's a big thing. If you got no money coming in, like you're not getting paid, right? As a full-time entrepreneur. The second aspect of obviously is tax as well. Like navigating the tax stuff, that's also hard, right? From a physical side of thing, because you are one-man band in the beginning, or maybe you got a co-founder, like you are pretty much like, if you don't work, you don't get anything. Like, right? So it's like I was ill a couple of weeks ago. I couldn't work for like 2 or 3 days. Like that means my business stopped for 2 or 3 days, right? Because you're so early in the beginning, right? So everything depends on you. Like you are the buffer. Like so it's not like you work. This is the thing. Like, people need to understand. It's not like you're working a job, you can just take sick leave and then like you can tell your manager, I'm not coming to work tomorrow because I'm ill. Like if like you can't tell anyone, like your business will stop. Like, right? So, and also it's about like the growth side of thing, right? It's about like, within the business, there's so many different areas to break it down into. You got marketing, you got like the coding side, you got like the sales side, right? And each side of them is very different, and there's a lot of learning, right? So one of the things that I'm struggling right now is marketing distribution, right? Even though I'm a content creator, but promoting a business is a very different ballgame. Like you can have the best product in the world, but if no one knows, like then that doesn't mean anything, right? So it's like, how do you market it to people? How to distribute to people? Like how do you get like people to try it? Like so stuff like that. It's hard because your mind is constantly having 100 things running. It's like you could be working on one specific thing, and then 2 more ideas pop in your head, and then maybe you got an email from like a customer. You'd be like, oh, this thing doesn't work. You'd be like, oh, I need to fix that right now. So it's like you're constantly in that zone. So it's not easy. Like just like for those that want to go to entrepreneurship, like, and I'm not a successful entrepreneur yet, but it's not easy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can see it, and I think every entrepreneur that I know has the same kind of story where they talk about all the different aspects. I think they all struggle with different things. I think some of us are innately kind of really good at some stuff. Some people are just really good ideas people, but they just can't sales. Some people are just really good at sales, but they just struggle with ideas. And so it's like learning to fill in the gaps of where you're not good at and understand that why they're like, okay, if I'm not good at this, how do I make sure that, you know, that I can fill in the gaps on other things that I can actually be balanced? It's so important. So you mentioned financial tech marketing. I want to kind of go through some of them and give some advice. How does a new entrepreneur who's just started figure out finance? How do they figure out sales? How do they figure out how to make sure that the business is actually a business and isn't just an idea that they have, and they can actually like figure out how to like, okay, price something, or figure out how much their time is worth it for them to actually do it themselves or find someone else to do it. In your early years, how did you kind of like come to terms with all these things?
100%. I think the biggest learning I've had for the past 2 years is ship and break fast. So that means just ship the ideas out, like just have a minimal viable product, we call them MVP, and then just market it, get people to use it. Like you don't want to work on an idea because you're stuck in your head, right? Because if you're only one, or if you like a couple of people that are working on the idea together, like you are in the zone, like you're not looking from other people's perspective, right? So because you will think the idea is great, so you're like not blindfolded, but
I know what you mean.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So but like, so you need to ship and break, like, so like it just like ship fast, and if it breaks, then you move on. So I think that's probably the biggest thing that I've learned. The second biggest thing is marketing. Like marketing is so important. Like I mentioned, like you can have the best product in the world, but if no one knows your product, like that doesn't mean anything. So it's like, how can you market it? So I would say, like now when I build a product, especially when I'm building patent.io, right? Like I'm not just thinking about building. I'm thinking about building and marketing at the same time. Is even if the product's not launched, I was already thinking marketing, because that's so important. Like it's getting the awareness, like making sure people understand it, like making sure like there is like awareness from like audience, and you getting traction and stuff. That is so important. So like these are the like my two biggest learning that I'm taking with me since
yeah. I mean, you mentioned coding also. Like this is a new kind of field, and I think AI and all these different things has given us so much different kind of ways to attack entrepreneurship. How has coding and AI and all of this changed the way you kind of operate as an entrepreneur?
100%. Just to be completely transparent, right? I am not technical. Like I use AI to code like everything. So like I'm a non-technical founder. So like I am using like AI tool to help me to build stuff. Like so, and the reason I want to really emphasize this is because I thought everyone knows how powerful AI is. But actually, when I talk to my mate, when I talk to people that are powerful, it's not as tech native. I don't know how you call them, but like people are actually not that, doesn't actually have the awareness of what AI does. Like honestly, there's so much going on, and it can help you. Like the barrier of entry was high, like a couple of years ago, or like 20 years ago, 10 years ago, because like, you need to understand the technology. You actually need to be able to build stuff. Now you don't have to. If you got a great idea, if you know how to do marketing, you can have the next 100 million ideas.
That is crazy.
So exactly. So like I use AI to code everything. Like so my product is built on top of AI, right? I use AI to do a lot of my things, like brainstorming and stuff. Like, I think is actually one of the another learning, or one of the things that I really emphasize is use AI. Like honestly, like when you're in doubt, get AI as your second opinion, because like that knows a lot more than you, like, and there's a lot more learning that you can take from it, and at least like to bounce off ideas, or like just to get like some support and stuff, like and that is probably the cheapest option you have as well.
Yeah, going more into that then. What is AI good at and what is AI bad at as an entrepreneur? What do you find that AI does really well to help you, and what do you kind of need to rely on your own kind of mentality?
I'm glazing AI. AI is great at it. No, I'm kidding.
Great at everything.
I would say AI is great at coding now, right? Like I say, I do not know how to code. And like AI can help me code and actually build a decent product. Obviously, look, don't get me wrong, it takes time to understand even how to use AI to build a product, because like it's about how do you get the infrastructure, how do you get the structure or the architectural stuff coming together. I'm not gonna get too technical of it, but it takes time to understand the prompting of it, right? But AI is great at like helping you to ship the product fast because the coding side of thing has been covered, right? AI is great at helping you to scale the product as well, right? Because you can make decision with AI, like it can be essentially to help you to make some of those difficult decisions. So I say one thing, this is just my opinion, like you still need to have the human aspect of it. So that means that you still want to bounce off ideas with like actual humans. This is why networking events are so important as well. This is something that I'm trying to do a bit more as well. It's so because you want to like you want to like understand the market, and AI can't necessarily do that, right? So, but it can absolutely help you to create those marketing materials, but it can't help you to market, right? So that is the thing that I would say the human aspect is still very important. But honestly, as a new entrepreneur, not technical, AI can cover probably I'd say 90% of everything for you.
Yeah, I think also one of your entrepreneurial kind of ventures is Patent.io, and I want to talk about that a little bit now. Tell me about Patent. Where did it come from? Where did the idea come from? And what problem are you trying to solve?
Love it. This is my gig. This is the biggest thing that I've built today since being an entrepreneur. So Patent.io or Patent is a personalized AI content strategist for short-term content creators. So essentially what it does is to help you to help content creators to analyze or to automate the content analysis and to help you to understand who you are as a content creator. So essentially what it does, it connects to your Instagram and TikTok and YouTube account. It will essentially understand who you are as a content creator, will analyze all your posts, like your content pillars. So what type of content that you post, your tone of voice, so how do I speak, and like, is it casual, is it professional, and what type of like format that does really well, is it carousel or is that like actual videos, reels and stuff. And then we'll also analyze the actual videos as well. So we'll analyze video into different layers. So that means we'll analyze videos in a way that where ChatGPT and Claude actually can't do it. So we analyze the visual, so like any background, any subheading, like any text on screen, like any stickers and stuff, and we analyze so yeah, that's the first thing, the visual, right? But also we analyze the transcription, so like the transcript of it, and we analyze the audio, any background music, how's your pace, and we actually look at performance data. So what that means, everything is connected. So before we give you a recommendation, before we tell you what you can do better or what are the new ideas that you can do, everything has been connected. So we're only going to give you ideas that we know is data driven, right? So that has been backed by data, that it knows this kind of pillar is doing really well for the past week based on your own data, based on Instagram and TikTok's like insight. And then so it's very targeted. What I would say is algorithm like is unpredictable, like unpredictable. So because like the trend change every week, but like data doesn't lie. Like you can still use those data to make informed decisions, like to help you to plan and like idealize contents and stuff. Like I'm a content creator, right? So, and this is the tool that I built for myself essentially because I struggle to grow. I've been posting, I want to say probably for like 16 months now. And I was stuck with like 2K followers, and that took me a long time. There's no engagement, like I didn't know what to do. And I started actually exploring data. I started actually looking at like the key things, that what are my content doing well on, and how can I essentially to double down on them. And then so hence why I start building this tool, and it comes to life. And then by using this tool, now I've doubled my followers, or I say I've like probably for the past like month or two. Like so now I've got 4K followers, and then I probably grew like 1,000 followers just in the past like 3 weeks. So you can see like it is working well, and by making those informed decisions, by having a tool to help you to automate some of these processes, can really help you to grow, but also to build community depending on your content goal. But essentially this is what the tool does, and I'm very excited. Yeah.
I'm actually really excited. You've kind of taken me through the product, and I think it's a fantastic product, like I said on the call. But yeah, let's go more deeper into it. Yeah. Who is the product for? Like, what kind of person are you kind of trying to market it for?
100%. So the product is now targeted for short form content creator that kind of is struggling to grow, or like don't really know how to analyze the content. So I think these are like the two main type of audience that I'm targeting, right? So because when you first start using like social media, like when you start posting content, like there's so much going on. Like you can just like follow trend or should do your own thing. Like and even or maybe you don't even know who you are or how do you position yourself, because for example, if I do fitness content and also I do like road to self-employment and also like I do like 9 to 5 content and stuff, actually you can categorize them together, right? So then you can really be targeted to say, okay, I want to post like 3 times on this specific category because of X, Y, and Z reason. So it's just helping you to automate some of these processes to like actually give you a deeper analysis. And what I mean by automation as well is like how I used to do it is a manual review, right? Because essentially the AI tool like ChatGPT and Claude cannot pull the data automatically for you. So you have to essentially go to your tool, like copy and paste one by one per post, give it to Claude, and then Claude do the analysis. But what my technology can do is actually just combine everything together. It's all automated. It can send you a report every week, and like essentially. Like, so this is what I mean by automation, right? And this is what the tool is for. It's for people that are struggling to grow the content, struggling to understanding how to analyze the content, and these are the main type of audience.
Because I've realized, kind of when you were talking through it and we were working through it, one of the biggest things was that it's giving you genuine advice, like, because as a content creator, we kind of feel like we're on a journey by ourselves, trying to figure everything out, trying to like kind of gauge the algorithm, and it's a black box. We don't actually understand what the black box is saying. We're just trying to just kind of do things and make a little bit of sense. But I think like once you start using your tool, that becomes a bit more understandable. You understand your content better, and I think that's what's really important for creative, because we kind of just like sometimes throw things at a wall to see what sticks, but you can understand your content a bit better, you can understand what you're going for, you can understand how your audience is reacting, and then you can make your, like you said, informed decisions about what you want to do.
100%, absolutely, yeah. So it's very tailored to you, right? So ChatGPT and Claude or like other AI tool can give you some form of tailored suggestion, knowing who you are, like your tone of voice and stuff. But what it can't do is, like I said, it's about the data element of it. It can suggest you content to do next week, but it doesn't know whether those content are doing well or not, right? So then it's going to keep suggest you content that perhaps it's not tailored or it's not based on data, right? So what my tool can do is, the more that you use it, and with the data that is keep like in your account, like it's going to get richer and richer insight or context. So all the ideas that will give you, like it's very tailored to you. So this is why it's like I kind of have taken a back seat on fitness content, because the tool is telling me that fitness content doesn't do too well, which I can see that myself. So I kind of stopped doing those content. I still post them just for fun sometimes, but I stopped doing this. So I'd be very strategic about it, and I post different type of content that will help me to drive growth, and it is working for me right now. So,
so you mentioned content too. You mentioned like obviously you're also a content creator yourself. What are some of the lessons that you learned about your own content when you start using it? What, like, for example, what content do you like to do, like yourself? Like, something you've realized about your own content from having this kind of analysis perspective?
What, like using the tool or just in general?
Just using the tool, and also like how has the tool helped you understand your own content? Essentially, is my
no, 100%. I think it helped me to categorize my content, so like the content pillars. So one of the things that I missed in the beginning, which is a good example, is obviously I'm from Hong Kong originally, as you know. I moved to the country 6 years ago, right? So I post a little bit kind of like international student or like as an expat or like moving abroad content. I never thought that should be a content pillars. But by looking at the data through the tool, it's telling me that should absolutely be one of your content pillars, because it's driving so much engagement and so much growth. So then I actually doubled down on it, and I've decided to use like to post more content about international students, about like living abroad, and sharing the emotional side of thing, because this is what it's such a, and it's been doing really well. So that was something that was I've taken into like account. It helped me to essentially look at that and be very specific about it, right? And the second element for it is just the weekly analysis, just the data. Like I post 7 days a week, like so once a day, like, and I look at what type of content is doing really well, like, and I try to identify a trend for you, right? So it's like road to self-employment is doing really well. So does that mean that you should double down on it, to post a bit more content? Or and another thing that the tool does, right, is expansion ideas. So if this specific topic is doing really well, can we take like the small element of it and then expand it to a different video or like a different idea? And this is what you can do, and it's helped you to like the idealization part of it is really useful, because sometimes like your mind was stuck, right? Or like you don't know like how can I, if this will, like let's just say selling my car content do really well, what can I do next then, right? So like the tool can suggest you stuff like that. But also what's interesting is you can put someone else's content in it. So if I really like your content as an example, right, I can put your content, I can analyze your content, but I will give, before the tool give you the analysis, it will still have the context of who you are as a content creator. So it's going to give you some tailored ideas that is taken from that specific creator that's doing really well, but combined with like the understanding of who you are, and then so will give you really tailored like ideas to create. So this is where like it's a lot easier for you to create content and for you to essentially find new ideas to do.
Honestly, it sounds like a superpower for like content creators. Exactly what you're saying. I want to talk a little bit more about the reality of creating a product, like pattern. You know, like the days that you have to kind of spend, you know, kind of making a product and launching it. The discipline that it takes. Well, can you talk to me about that? What does discipline look like for you as a creator of kind of like products like this?
Yeah, great question. I think, discipline is important. So it's not about the motivation. Like you're not motivated all the time. Like you need to be disciplined. And this is something that I'm still learning myself as well, because it's hard. Like sometimes I'm just really tired, just don't want to do work on it. But it's about how do you essentially maximizing every single minute of your time. So right now what I'm trying to do is that, for example, at night I'm not as productive, right? So I'm trying to do the less creative work, or I guess the more like manual tasks. So it doesn't, I don't have to think too much. I just need to do them. So it's like, how do I essentially maximize my time and be more efficient? So for all the creative stuff I do in the morning, like, and at night I just maybe like reply emails, or like I would just like find new creator that I can potentially collaborate with and stuff, because like it's bit So just like identifying like your own schedule that will work for you, and just really double down on it. So this is the thing, but it's tough. It's difficult to work all day. No, I think that's kind of like the because I saw a video of yours, you know, talking about motivation, you know, and I think you were mentioning how motivation is overrated. Like, it's actually about, you know, the things that will keep you going. It's all this like discipline, and also like the idea about what you're doing. And I kind of really relate to that. I think anyone who does something for a really long time, you get to a stage where the thing itself starts to become your identity as like who you are. And so like you're not really questioning it anymore. It is who you are. But that doesn't stop you from also having to actually build up the kind of the energy to continue doing it. You know, I kind of look at myself like a farmer. Like a farmer doesn't question, am I going to go plant seeds and, you know, do all of this thing? I have to do it, but it doesn't make it easy. 100%, absolutely. It's like you water yourself every day, all right? So it's like you, and one of the other things that I learned as well is some days you feel productive, which is great. Some days you don't feel productive, but that doesn't mean that you didn't do any work. But it might just mean the nature of the work doesn't categorize as being productive. So what I mean by that is like what part of my marketing strategy, which is going into like different social media channels. So not just on creating content on Instagram and TikTok, because those are the tangible stuff, right? But the intangible stuff is like commenting on someone else's post, driving the engagement, like driving the like going to Reddit and like going to the subreddit page and giving advice and stuff. And the reason I'm doing that is because like, so people start recognizing, or like the like Reddit start recognizing who you are. So when you post, so you can post more content in the future, because for example, like Reddit doesn't let you self-promote. You have to give value to people first, right? So like, doing stuff like that, it doesn't feel productive, because you feel like I'm just scrolling on social media, I'm just like typing, like I'm just being like one of those keyboard warriors, just be like, oh, why are you doing this? What's going on? Like obviously I'm trying to give advice, just trying to like comment and just drive my own page engagement and stuff. But it's just like that doesn't feel productive at all. Do you know what I mean? Like, but that's an action that you have to take. Like some of the action like you will not feel 100% productive every day, but it doesn't mean that you didn't do work.
Yes, I 100% agree. Talk to me about also like the days where you don't feel like when you feel like down? Because I think one thing I really appreciate about your content is that it's honest and it's genuine. You know, you'll have late nights, kind of like honest thoughts, and you know, everyone knows you're the discipline. You're gonna get up tomorrow morning. You're gonna make those videos. You're gonna, you know, smash the day. But you allow yourself to be open and you know, kind of honest with your audience. Yeah, what does that feel like when you're in those moments where you feel like, oh man, this isn't working. I know it's going to work, but I just got to keep going. How do you kind of talk yourself through those moments?
Yeah, good question. I think for me, honestly, the idea, like, gotta think like further ahead. Like, so gotta think what future me would like me to do right now. So this is how I kept myself going. So it's like some of the decision that you made is like enjoyment for yourself right now, right? But actually the future you doesn't like appreciate that. So for example, like going to Mackey's, like you would, like, I absolutely want to smash like a burger right now, but like, you know, like in 2 hours time, you're not gonna feel good because it's so oily and stuff, right? So it's like stuff like this, like, so it's about think about what the future you would enjoy, would like, and this is where like this is where I just keep I guess get myself back on track, is because like I know, like if I keep scrolling my phone, like the 25-year-old to me is not gonna be happy, because like that might mean we're missing our time to doing work and stuff. So really just having like look further ahead, like don't look at now, like look further ahead, like look at like next week, look at like 2 weeks time, look at like 2 years time, like what would Jeff want you to do? Yeah,
no, 100%. I think also another way for me that I realize is also understanding the role or the path. Like I get it now. Like I understand it now, that meme. That it's not going to be one where once you figure out what you want to do in your life, everything in your life changes. Like your direction changes and your like trajectory changes, because you're now heading forward and you're moving forward, but you're still a person.
Yeah.
Your emotional state will always be like triggered by something. Your environment might trigger it. Your family situation might trigger it. It's just now that you have some sort of driver. You know, like you're a ship. Like the ship still get stuff, you know, moving it side to side, and you know, lightning and rain and da. But it just knows that it's still going in that direction. So it's like understanding that no matter where you are in life, you're still gonna have problems, and that's not a bug; it's a feature. It's a feature of the fact that you're a human being trying to do stuff. Your feature is the fact that you're out there making, you know, you're smashing into things, making mistakes, you know, figuring it out, trying to figure out how your life is going to be structured.
Yeah.
You know, how much time you give to friends, how much time you give to family, how much time you give to yourself. All of these are stuff that you have your whole life to figure out now that you know what you want to do with your life.
100%.
But it's just like understanding that. And so when I have moments where I feel low, I don't tell myself, oh, like, you know, the back of my head goes, you're wasting time, like, obviously, because I'm a high achiever and I never want to waste time. But I think always I'm telling myself, okay, this is part of it. Like, this is a step that I have to figure out. Be okay with the step. Be okay, like, it's better I figure out now than I figure out when I'm 30. So all of that, just reframing stuff, having a good enough reframing, being honest, being open, and then also understanding, okay, like, allow yourself to feel this now, but you know the next day you still gotta go. You gotta keep doing the work.
100%. I love what you just said. I think, like, be honest to yourself is really important. Like, so for example, some days like you have absolutely like got nothing in the tank. Like, so what's the point for you to stay at the desk for another 2 hours? Like, you might as well just go and do something else. Like, you might as well like go for a run. You might as well just go to bed earlier, because you're gonna waste your time. So like you might as well just sleep earlier. So like, right, so it's like having an understanding. I guess really being an entrepreneur, being like able to control your own time is the ability to understand your lifestyle or like your routine, right? So like I said, if you're more productive in the morning, keep your productive work in the morning, right? If you can't do anything after lunch, like keep those like a more low maintenance or low like manual work that you do during after lunch. So like really trying to maximize every single minute of your time by knowing who you are as a person or as your routine. So yeah, this is what I would say that has helped me a lot.
Speaking of knowing who you are as a person, I think like one of the big things that every person around this age has to make the choices where they're going to live. And I want to kind of like segue a little bit into that, obviously the move that you're making, but also the decision about like housing. And I think you made this video, which I really, really appreciate, when you were talking about the fact that everyone kind of feels like they have to buy a house, and, you know, and like you value the flexibility more. And like, you know, like a lot of people in our generation, you know, coming back to what we were talking about before, about the 9 to 5, that's the kind of life path, you know, like they go da-da-da-da-da-da, and like, you know, even now it's more harder to buy a house than it's ever been,
Yeah.
but people will put themselves into enormous amount of debt and mortgage to do that because they feel like it's the right step, and that's like the kind of the path they have to take. You had all the reasons to buy a house.
Yeah.
You know, you had the stability, but you decided not to do it. What made you choose the flexibility and the freedom over just the stability in terms of buying, like, the housing situation?
I think, yeah. So the flexibility is the most important thing that I think of. Is if I were to have a mortgage right now, like I couldn't quit my job.
Yeah.
Like I will have to continue to work,
100%.
like, and I'll be stressed if I got laid off as well, right? Because I'll be like, I need to find a job to pay off my mortgage. And that's a mortgage. It's not like a mortgage is not like 2 years. A mortgage is 40 years.
It's
you
a
know,
whole life.
it's a whole life, like, right? So I understand the aspect of people wanting to get an asset. Don't get me wrong, like, I love to have that as well. But do I want to choose that being stuck in one place, or like being constrained where like you're gonna have to continue to work? Or do I want the flexibility of like trying new things? I think because we're so young, like honestly, I thought about buying a house probably since I was like 20. Like I wanted to buy it like when I'm like 22. Like I was like, you know what, like, I could probably make the call to do that. But I just figure out it's like I'm so young. Like I want to take risks. Like I if I want to do all this amazing thing, buying a house is not gonna help me. Like so I made a decision to not buy a house, and to try like and it's go back to the point about like quitting my corporate job, right? So like it's the same decision that I made. Like if I'm not buying a house now, doesn't mean that I'm not gonna buy a house in 2 years time. Like right, it's still a two-way door. Like so it's a decision that I make now that I can always just change my mind later on down the line.
Yeah, 100%. I think the question I have for you is also like, do you think like this is like a kind of the decision every ambitious person has to make at some point in their life, to choose flexibility over stability? Because it feels like very few times when I'm speaking to people, they understand these kind of choices, these kind of decisions, why people do that, you know. But when I speak to people who are ambitious, it feels like, of course, they're going to do this. Is that like an element of kind of who they are?
I agree. I would say so. Like, and because, you know, it's like when you talk about earlier, the pros and cons, right? You have to really evaluate the pros and cons. Like, you need to understand what you want to do, and this is why I think for the ambitious person, like sometimes they don't buy the house, or like they don't want the mortgage, or they don't want something to tie them down, so then they can't try something else. I think this is a really strong point, and it says, I mean, in a way, it says a lot about you. I think like so, and I also know, because there's a lot of stories out there, right? I also know a couple of people that's got a mortgage, like. Hence why they can't quit the job. So you're gonna have to continue to work. And then you go back to that loop, like again, the cycle about, okay, I have to work during the day, but let me try to work on my idea at night. But I'm so tired to work on my idea. So then let's go back to the loop again.
Yeah.
So then you can never able to quit your job. And like, but because you're not making any money elsewhere, but I've got mortgage to pay, so I have to continue to work. So you're always in that endless loop, right? So so this is why I was like, I think this is why a lot of the people don't buy the house, or at least for me, like I decided flexibility over stability. Well, it's in my 20s. This is the thing. I think people gotta understand. Look, there's two ways to look at like an age, right? Like I think I'm late to the game, so that means that I could have become a millionaire by now. Like why am I not a millionaire? You know what I mean? Like why am I not a millionaire? Why did I start so late? But equally, on the other side to look at it is you're only 23. Like. If you want stability, you got the rest of your life to do that. Like, so why don't you like just give yourself a chance?
Yeah, dude, I think, first of all, you're not late to the game, I'll just tell you that. But also, I feel like there's an element of like, kind of like, a misunderstanding about age. I feel like a lot of people feel like their life, and again, it comes back to how the life path is, nice catch. It comes back to how the life path is kind of laid out, right? Where we feel like at 30 years old, our life completely changes. And so we feel like we have to make all these decisions and figure them out before that age. And I think it's not using the time properly. Like sometimes in your early years, you're supposed to use that to kind of bang your head with a few things. Most people use it in the wrong way. They go clubbing and they just completely ruin their life that way. But no, you're supposed to use it in order to kind of like flexible, move around, move to different places, try different types of career paths, use the energy that you have in that early point of your life to change your life for forever.
100%, and this is go back to the point about earlier about when we talk about traveling, or like what are the people that regrets the most is saying not like is they didn't travel, right? Go back to the point. I think traveling, I think it's more about experience. Obviously, traveling is a way to get experience, right? I think it's the like when we're so early, we need to expand our horizon, by moving to different. And one of the ways to do that is by moving to different places, or by trying different careers, or by learning new things, by playing new sports and stuff. And I think it's so easy to just doing the same thing every day and just not stay a comfort zone. But actually, if you want to grow, you want to experience life. The life is so big, like you need to try new things. You need to stay out of the comfort zone. And I think this is where I think it's lifetime, like lifelong learning, right? So like you can't learn everything. Like you can always learn stuff. And this is I need to keep reminding myself. It's like even when I made it, like there's still so much I can learn. Like I need to continue to learn and continue to grow. And this is what, I think if you're 20, or even if you're 30s, go for it. Just fucking do it, man.
Just do it.
Just do it.
I remember there's a video of you like, just do the thing, just do the thing.
Just do the thing.
Just do the thing.
Yeah.
You can fail, come back again, just do the thing.
100%.
Speaking on that, actually, you're obviously planning to move to Valencia very soon. What are you kind of excited about, and what are you still kind of like, not nervous, but we're still kind of thinking about in that trip?
100%. So let me take a back step a little bit, just talk about the Valencia decision as well, right? So one of the things that really important for me is course, right? And also it's the startup environment and also exercise scenes as well. So Valencia kind of fit all the three categories, hence why I decided to pick Valencia over a place like Japan, over a place like Germany, or like America and stuff. So what I'm most excited about Valencia is the ability to go full in, just like actually full time being an entrepreneur, being a digital nomad. Like it's actually just give myself a chance to try and stay with like-minded people. So where I'm gonna be living, I'll be living in one of those like co-living space. So essentially I'll be living with like other digital nomads, with like other entrepreneurs and stuff. So everyone's doing different things, but it's very like-minded, right? So like you can bounce off ideas with and stuff. So I'm super excited about that. I'm also super excited to actually get my fitness up even on a different level as well, because I can swim on the sea, I can ocean, I can exercise, I can run and all of those. What I'm scared, right? Just go back to the point about the finances. Like that will always come up in your head. Like, I think that like there wouldn't be a time that you never it's like we're an adult. Like money's look. Nothing about money can be 100% of that. I'm not gonna go into that, but it's about you need money to survive. Like let's just right. So I have a runway that I've gave myself, right. So it's about, can I make sure that I can make money when I'm in Valencia? So that I think that's the important bit. I think that's what I'm scared of doing, and in a way is now all my life is unstable, like because I've sold my car. So what does it mean after as well, right? So this is what I mean, but I really need to make it work, because by making it work, then I have the option to explore more stuff. But if I don't make it work, then I'm fucked.
Yeah,
so yeah,
but,
that's it.
I mean, there's a scene in Mother Supreme where the woman asks the main character, he's like, have you ever thought about when this thing doesn't work? And he's like, that doesn't even enter my consciousness.
100 absolutely. This is exactly it. Like this is the thing. Like I want to say, like I'm so certain, like that I'm not gonna fail. Like I'm not, like I'm serious. I'm looking at this camera to say this. I'm looking at this camera to say this. Like I'm so certain I'm not gonna fail. Like I'm gonna succeed. Like the only option I have is to make it work, and I'm gonna make it work. So you watch me, like, and in 2 years time, come back to me, like I'll be there. Like, so that, do you know,
I believe it, bro.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I believe it, bro.
You gotta believe it to make it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta have that mindset as well. So like, I'm gonna make it. Just telling you right now. So yeah, 100%.
I think also there's like some people know this. This is what I love about kind of the path. Some people know they're meant to make it. It's just, you get that feeling of like you're meant for more. You get the feeling that you can do more. You get the feeling that even when you're doing a lot, if I could move stuff around, I could be more. And it's like those feelings very rare and sometimes not explainable. It's just a feeling you get inside. It's just about you getting out your own way.
100%.
You gotta get out your own way to actually follow that goal.
100%. And by chasing that feeling, the first step is to step out and try.
Yeah.
So just try. Just do it. And what I will also say as well, like, obviously we're both very ambitious person, right? I would put, and this is something that I learned as well, especially when I'm like talking to other people, like entrepreneur and stuff. Like everyone is very different. Like I do want to like acknowledge that. What I mean by that is like some people are genuinely happy with the 9 to 5. So I still believe that not everyone, like no one needs to work on a 9 to 5. Like if you want to do your own thing, but some people are happy with a 9 to 5. So fair play to you. Like do what's happy for you, right? So just having that acknowledgement of like everyone is different.
Yeah.
Like and equally, might not. If we look at like the people in the next level, they might think that you are not ambitious at all. Like what is going on? Like you are not doing much.
Yeah.
So it's like just having that awareness of like everyone is so different that and having the understand that you're not above or below anyone.
Yeah, I mean
like,
that's true humility, right? Like understanding that we're all on our own journey. I think whenever I speak about this, I'm not doing it to say like, oh, what you're doing is terrible. I really want people to understand there is a different way.
100%.
I think most of the time, and I've been there too, when you're stuck in a 9 to 5, that feels like the only way. It feels like the only way you can actually make any progress in life. And I know a lot of people, they've got their own ambitions, they've got their own hopes and dreams, but they put that to the side because of 9 to 5, because sometimes the environment or even their life is not allowing them to do that. And so like, I feel like there is kind of a responsibility on people that are doing it to say like, oh, look, it's tough. It's not like this is easy. We're not celebrities. We're in the perfect balance where I'm not some guy on TV telling you this. You go, well, what do you mean? You're like already made it. It's like, I'm really there next to you. I'm doing the same thing you're doing. I'm just choosing to make a little bit of change here and there. And I'm telling you why I'm making those changes, because my perspective on it is a bit different, you know? And I think it's important for us to kind of recognize that and say that too, because people like to be inspired. You know, it's like lighting a flame. Once you light that one flame,
and this is the thing. This is what I like. I went into a different podcast recently, and a question that the podcast host asked me is about so what do you want people to get out of the content? Like, and I said honestly, like if you are motivated or maybe inspired by like just one of my content, I'll be really happy. Like just planting the seed, right? My mate planted a seed on me 3 years ago, and look at me, like I've come a long way.
That's so
So
true.
it's like if I can plant a seed in like just little one, or just like water you every day by you watching my content, and then you get to do what you want to do, whether that's entrepreneurship, whether that's fitness, or whether that is just stepping out of the comfort zone, that's amazing.
Speaking of planting the seed, then, so this version of you that, let's say that 3 months from now, you've gone to Valencia, or maybe 4 months from now, you've gone to Valencia, you've come back. What are you hoping you'll kind of like understand by then? What are you hoping that some of the lessons that you'll be able to get on the other side of this trip?
I think not necessarily something that I'm the absolute big things I want is my business is stable, as in like I can get consistent growth. That's probably like the best thing. And I think it'd be a tough journey, I think, like because navigating like by having no salary, navigating like growing the business, because I think I wouldn't say I'm good at, but like all I know now is by building a business. But in Valencia, it's about growing the business. So it's going to come with different challenges. It's about learning like the ways to grow the business and the ways to navigate the situation, and maybe even about like hiring someone, right? Or like just like like just expanding like the venture into different dimensions. So I think that is what I'm hoping to get out. Or it's gonna be tough work, but I'm excited.
Dude, I completely agree with you, man. I think like that's kind of like there's so many steps to this. There's the launch, there's the takeoff, and then there's like once you're in the air, you gotta maintain the air because you don't want to crash the plane. It's even more important you keep in there. So I think that's kind of like where, even for me, that's where I'm at now. You know, it's like it was great to take the launch, and now you're on the launch is about, you know, kind of like maintaining that and like kind of like building it while it's in the air. You gotta like create this thing where it's kind of longevity so you can get to where you're going. I think it's so important that's like that part of that journey. It forces you to change.
Yeah.
And it forces you to look at the things that you love differently. It forces you to kind of like, you know, like you were saying with pattern, like really like analyze what you're doing. How can I be better? What am I doing it for? Have tangible goals, tangible, like, you know, kind of like direction. How am I moving towards that goal? So am I ticking them off? And then, because I feel like a lot of the time, you know, like dreams die when we don't have like a direction to take them.
Yeah.
You can't fly the plane forever.
100%.
You have to land it somewhere.
Yeah.
You have to figure out where am I going to actually take this plane.
100%.
So I think like having those kind of perspectives is so important.
And just to add on that as well is regularly review your goals as well, right? It is about like if my business, for example, let's just say like do really well now, then I will revisit my goals. So what are the new action I need to take to like continue to accelerate that? Or perhaps it's not growing as much as I wanted to. So what do I need to do? Like what do I need to adjust to make sure that I am continuing to and I will be growing, right? So stuff like that. It's about, maybe it's about I need to land the plane, or maybe it's about actually I need to find a different airport because I can go a bit further. So right, so this is
100%. Speaking of further, then looking not just 3 months but 5 years. I love to ask people questions, especially ambitious people, this question, because I know they always take that perspective. Where are you trying to be in 5 years?
5 years. Ooh, so 5 years it would be 2026. It'll be 2030. So it'll be 2031. Oh my days. That's so 2031. I'll be 28. Whoa, 28. Wow. Okay. So the plan for the next 2 years, let me just say that first, is actually retire, right? So that means having the financial freedom to do what I want to do, right? So it's not all about money. It's about me can just do whatever I want. And that could mean about in the business side. In 5 years' time, that changed the story. I think I love to have family, right? I love to have a stable long-term partner and just have kids and stuff. So I think like 28 is so far ahead now, but it's gonna come really soon. Exactly. So, but I think I want to build a foundation for me, financial level, and then start exploring more from a relationship style thing. I think that's probably where I want to go.
Yeah, bro, that's amazing. I think the goals and where we take this and like, you know, where, you know, you kind of develop. And I think the, you know, personal development is also very important to your business development. You know, like how you grow as a person, what kind of stable life you have, what kind of have your perspective about what's important, the longevity, all of these things of your businesses and all these things is so important. And 100%. I think it's really important to kind of like have that perspective. And one thing I really love about your content is that you speak to people wherever they're at. You speak to people who are kind of like about to start their journey. Speak to people who are like, you know, we're well on the way on the journey already.
100%. Let me. I'm the host now. I'm gonna ask you that question.
Talk to me.
So, what is your goal in 5 years' time? Like, what do you want? Where do you see yourself being in 5 years?
Professionally or personally?
Go on, both.
Professionally, I think I definitely want to do more high-level interviews. I think the skill of interviewing I really, really enjoy. I really enjoy sitting across from people and interviewing people. But I want to do it in different forms. I want to maybe do it in a documentary style. Like, you know, actually being on site and talking to people. I think the ideas I've learned as you get better at a skill, or like especially podcasting, the ideas are far more important than just the reps. So like the type of conversation I'm having, the kind of like the research I do for the conversations, finding that is super important. And then like I want to build a business around that idea, a business that can quickly support my kind of like creative ideas and be able to move that, whether that's like with a team of people, whether that's like, marketing agency, something to kind of help me make the product and get it out to people. And
Love it.
Finding a way to refine that idea is super, super important. I think personally, it's kind of still very much the same. I do want a family. I do want a long-term partner. I want to be able to have that kind of stability in some aspect of my life, because I think a lot of a lot other aspects of my life is going to be not unstable, but very much like flexible.
Yeah.
It'll be me going to this place and me going to this place, and I want to have that kind of perspective. But that means finding a partner that is okay with that too. So it's like I think 5 years time, like you said, it's a long time, but it's about like figuring out how the skills that I have, I can refine them better. I can make sure that like they're more like, kind of effective in a sense, not just the fact that I have the skill, but how can I use it to really make an impact on the world in a positive way? And then also like personally, how can I like remove all the fluff to make my life as simple, but as like valuable and like, as like impactful for me at least as possible.
100%. Love it. I love it. Like I'll see you on the air all the time or something. Like,
exactly. We'll fucking duff each other as we fucking
That's it, mate. That's
move,
it.
Move across.
100%.
Final question I have is for the people watching this. For someone who's watching this, they're stuck in their plan B. What would you say to them? What would you actually kind of say to them about how to kind of think about where they are and actually move forward?
Great question. Honestly, try. Like the world is so big, go and try, go and explore. Like, you might not have any ideas what you want to do, like, but how you can find new ideas or how you can brainstorm is by trying new things. So you can even just starting with, like, for example, going to a new restaurant, trying a new cuisine. That could be one. Like, traveling obviously can be like an obvious one, right? Like, I think just step out of comfort zone and just do something. Like, I think by doing something, like, you will figure out like what you want to do. Essentially, it's kind of like go and explore. Like, so I think this is what I would say. And have the mindset of this is not it. Like, you got more you can achieve. Like, you have understanding that there's a bigger calling. Like, there's a lot more you can do, and that's to everyone. I do believe it, that everyone has got a bigger calling than where you are, than where they are now, because the idea of life is to keep growing, right? And so I would say it's like plan B. It's not the best plan right now, but keep trying. There's a better plan coming, and it's there for a reason.
100%, bro. I think, and more and more I realize the world is being split into two people that are trying, people that don't want to try. AI is going to devastate us into like those groups of people. It's going to make it very, very hard for people that don't try, and then very, very easy for people that try. So I think your content is really at the cutting edge. I think what you do, your ideas, your kind of like discipline, your focus is inspiring. And more people should be checking you out. And I can see already more people are. So
I appreciate it, man. I'm pretty good pot. And the next time I come back, I don't know when, but maybe I'll have 100k followers, man. So that's it.
Amen to that, brother. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.
See you later.
Peace.
That's the port.
Yay! Let's do it. Let's go.